In case you hadn't gathered by now, Genesis chapter 7 is considered by most people the flood chapter. Although there were no chapters demarked in the early scriptures, that was all artificial markings. The flood chapter could start somewhere in chapter 6 and end, you know, just halfway through chapter 8. But as we close chapter 7, we have 4 verses here that have so much in them. So much in them. Let's read it now and let's unpack it. And all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of fowl and of cattle and of beast and of every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth, and every man. All in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land, they all died. And every living substance was destroyed which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle, and the creeping things, and the fowl of the heaven, and they were destroyed from the earth. And Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 years. Days, I mean. Oh my goodness, sorry. 150 days. Now notice, the Bible makes it abundantly clear, and God through the Bible, through Moses, repeats it over and over and over again. Just in case you doubt it, it's all destroyed. Just in case you doubt it, it was global. Just in case you doubt it, I did a total extinction event. Just in case you doubt it. The Bible makes it abundantly clear that all flesh died that moved on land. If it were a local flood, as some insist, most of the animals and certainly all of the birds would have escaped to higher ground. Genesis, however, insists that this just could not have happened. In case the reader didn't get it, or that's, see, I'm reading from what I posted, but just in case you didn't get it, in verse 21 and verse 22 added another thing. All in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land, died. Now, what does that mean? You see, the breath of life is clearly stated to be a component of both animal life and human life. Let's look at it again. Of every living substance was destroyed which was upon the face of the earth, both man, the cattle, creeping thing, and the fowl, they were destroyed upon the earth. Just before that, in verse 22, it says, all in whose nostrils was the breath of life. That included man. What is that saying? It's saying that animals are said to possess soul, but not spirit, nor the image of God, which God only endued upon mankind. We read, every living substance was destroyed which was upon the face of the ground. The rocks of the earth's crust now contain fossil remains of billions of plants and animals buried in sediments which quickly solidified under pressure. The these geological columns have been grossly distorted by geologists and evolutionists into vividly imagined stories of billions of years history of evolution during geological ages. In fact, these columns display the deposits of an unimaginable cataclysmic flood with a fossil order primarily depicting the expected order of sediment burial of the organism of the pre-flood world. The main reason why very few fossilized people and flying birds are found in the rocks is their mobility and futile ability to escape impending doom and burial in the sediments. When they eventually drowned, their bloated bodies would float on the surface and decay. Yes, you got it. A third time we read, the waters prevailed. The highest intensity of flood action lasted 5 whole months. 5 times 30 is 150 days. Most modern geologists admit the necessity of a great catastrophe in the formation and burial to explain the fossils found in different layers. They find a massive worldwide flood unimaginable because they can neither visualize it nor imagine it, especially a flood that occurred only between 5 and 6,000 years ago. Another thing, in verse 23, it places the emphasis on Noah. In our previous lesson, we entitled it, Only Those in the Ark Were Safe. But the emphasis here, God put the emphasis on Noah. In verse 23, we read, and Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. What is implied here is that the only reason the others were safe is because they knew somebody. How often have you heard that? You know what? I can get you that because I know somebody. God kept them safe because they knew Noah. Wow. It's true. And that is the emphasis God put there. And Noah only remained alive. Noah. And then, as an added, and they that were with him in the ark. Have you ever thought of that? After the flood, we'll find out that they weren't as good as we thought. Only Noah. Well, to close, I wanted to say, as a believer in the Bible, God's Word, I need to trust in it without a shadow of a doubt. Did you get that? As a believer in the Bible, God's Word, I need to trust in it without a shadow of a doubt, or I might be hearing the same or similar voice that Eve did. And what was that voice? Yea, hath God really said? And you fill in the blanks.